him. He is officially live with us now. My man Jerome Baker is in the building. Man, it is an honor to have you in chat, in the room tonight. Not even chat, but just in the room. Like, bro, thank you for joining us tonight. So much, so much.
It's all good, my man. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, my man. Good looking. Always family in the chat. Always.
Yeah, so many people know Jerome Baker III, one of the founding members of Rock Creek Social, and definitely some other dope things in DC. And then obviously originally from Mesa, Arizona, correct?
Correct.
So let's get it started, man. So how did you get into DJing? Like, give me your intro, like early points of when Jerome Baker III really got going with things, and how did that all get started?
Early, I want to say, man, 93 maybe, like around that time I was just super into making my own. I started discovering making my own tapes, like making pause tapes basically. And we would go from pause tapes into, then I sort of realized like, okay, there's an opportunity to really control the crowd, because people start asking you for the pause tapes. Man, I heard that tape you were playing on the way. We would walk home, listen to my Walkman, whatever. And I would steal the batteries out of my parents' remote or something. So like, oh, somebody wants to listen to your mix on the way home, let me borrow that. And then once I got to high school, so you're talking 94, 95, fashion was the DJ on the local radio stations, Power 92. um
Shout out to Fashion in
yeah, shout out
Vegas.
to fashion. I've known fashion since about 95. So, and so just hearing him on the radio every day, every night before bed, 9 o'clock, the 9 at 9 mix, the 8 mix, all the mixes just inspired me to want to get busy.
That's so tight, man. Like, I definitely have heard multiple stories about Fashion getting busy just as a DJ, like, period. Like, it's a solid all around DJ for sure. Like, you've definitely gotten me hip to him. And I mean, he ran with the AM days and all those cats. So definitely solid DJ. So shout out to DJ Fashion, man, and
Of
all the
course, yeah.
Vegas homies. So great state of Mesa, Arizona, right? So shout out to your hometown. Shout out to Kellen if he's tuned in right now. Shout
Yes,
out to
sir. Yes,
Queen
sir.
and all the hometown team. So
Squad.
last week we had DJ Wonder in here from Delaware, and I asked him, if you could move back to your hometown, for what reasons and why? Like, what do you miss most about the Arizona state?
My mom, you know what I'm saying? My mom is there, like she's the rock. She is the illest. Like, yeah, my mom all day for sure.
That's tight. Shout out to Mama Jerome Baker the
Burl. Yeah, we
third.
call her Burl. Yeah, we've been
Burrow.
calling her Burl. Yeah, for a very long. I don't know if she likes it, but it is what it is at this point. So
That's tight, dude. That I mean, my mom and I are the closest, so I definitely respect
yeah,
that
for sure.
answer
You
a
know what it
lot.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't know how you. I mean, you always tell me stay hydrated, and that's how you really beat the heat. But yo, my uncle, or not uncle, but yeah, my uncle used to tell me, because he lived in Tucson, and
Mhm.
they told me that like there would be days where the airplanes would be grounded because the tarmac was too hot to launch airplanes off, because it would potentially pop the airplane's tires. So I don't know if you've heard of that, but I've heard stories from him telling me that it's been that hot out there where the airplanes
Yeah.
would be
I've
grounded.
That's definitely something that you're aware of. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes flights get canceled in the middle of the day, because it's just, hey man, it's 122, but it might be, you know what I mean? So sometimes the flights are dead from like 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., in July, but you stay hydrated, man, and you understand how to move, and it's just like you eat properly, and you just, like I said, you drink a ton of water. And just being out there, and this is like no disrespect to anybody, but you're gonna lose weight just because it's just so hot. You know what I'm saying? Like you move differently, you eat differently. You know what I mean? So off top, you're just gonna be like quick 20 pounds the first 2 weeks you're out there, gone, all water weight. You know what I mean? And then after a while, you adjust, but you would love it. Everybody loves it.
I mean, I've been out to Vegas, a lot. So I definitely, I think the hottest it was in Vegas when I was out there was 112. And it
Hmm.
wasn't really that bad because, again, it's a dry heat. It's a different kind of heat. I mean, yes, you did feel that, but I guess to me, 112 I mean, again, I was a fireman in my past days, so like I've been inside of a building that was 400 or 500 degrees, and that's a way different type of heat for sure.
Right, right, right.
So, all right, well, dude, that's dope, man. So shout out to Mesa, Arizona, and the hometown team for sure, and Burl as we refer to. So, all right, well, let's bring it back to DC. So, man, you're one of the founding fathers of Rock Creek Social Club.
Yes.
How did that happen? What how did it come to fruition? And like really like explain to us because some people that might be listening don't know what Rock Creek Social is. So give us kind of the lowdown and how that came to be. I know shout out to Scooty and all those guys as well. And rest in peace, Spicoli, one of the major, alumni of Rock Creek Social. So,
Absolutely.
but,
So
yeah, man.
basically, let's see, man. It was like 2009, 2008, 2009. I started to go to New York a lot and just be in like the cool parties. And I just was like, there's nothing like this in DC. Like, I mean, there was definitely like cool places, 18th Street Lounge, stuff like that. But just in terms of what I was looking for, it just wasn't working for me. There was also a party in Chicago called Super Fun, which a lot of the Manos and like I think Virgil was a part of it, and rest in peace Timbuktu.
Yeah.
He was a big part of it, and so they would put the video recaps on Vimeo every week, and I just happened to find them. I'm like, yo, this is the coolest looking party ever. And one of my homies, shout out my man Breck One, out in Boston, he played the party, so he told me, he's like, yo, this is it. Where you can get all your cool records off. You know what I mean? So summer 2010, a
So
new
okay,
venue.
I hate to interrupt. All right,
Go
cool
ahead.
records. Give me like top 3 cool records you would play maybe.
So it was at the time. Let's see,
At the time, of
2000.
course. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I am still a big Lupe fan. So like, I play the cool. I mean, I play Paris Tokyo by Lupe.
Great record.
She Wants to Move by NERD,
Yep.
and probably like Electric Feel by MGMT. It
Yo, we
just kind of
listen.
all
So
of
we listened to that tonight, like over at Haynes
yeah.
Point. Like MGMT, just their production is so unreal.
And just really all of the energy of the sort of indie rock and dance stuff, because DC, there was so many good indie rock, indie dance nights in 2006, 7, 8, 9, and it was very unfamiliar to me. So as a DJ, I'm with the hip hop, but then I would go to Black Cat because my man Stereo Faith had an indie rock dance party,
Shout out to Stereo
and
Faith.
these kids would be rocking the same way when you would play Jeezy, is the same way these kids would react when you would play The Rapture, or when you would play The Cure or The Smiths, you know what I'm saying, et cetera. So I was like, nobody's putting the same energy in one room. It's all separated. It's all segregated. And I hated that. That's just not the way that I live my life. I have friends of all races, backgrounds, and my interests are super varied. So at the time we started Rock Creek, I was trying to bring that sort of everybody in one situation. And shout out to my man Dave Nada, because the same summer we started Rock Creek, he was doing Moombahton Mondays at Velvet Lounge. So you would go see Moombahton Mondays at Velvet Lounge on Monday, come to Rock Creek on a Tuesday. And so what happened was we found a club called Recess, which is across the street from the White House,
Rest
who
in
was like,
peace.
hey, we're looking for something cool during the week. This sounds perfect. I had never been a party promoter. I had never really thrown parties before. I just was the DJ. But, shout out to my man Scooty, of course, Modi, uh, Geronimo, and Lamine. That was our initial 5 who just came together, formed like Voltron. And I was a Heineken rep at the time, so we were able to have like free open bar Heineken. And for kids who wanted to hear MGMT into NERD at a free party
That's
at a
a
really,
tight transition, by the way. Just
this
thinking
is
of that,
saying,
like, that's a tight
but
transition.
it was also a melding of the worlds, because like as a DJ, all of the cool places that we played, the equipment didn't work, right? And if you came downtown, the equipment worked, but it was all bottles and Nouveau and like all this stuff that was just like, yo, why are we drinking like pink Nouveau? Like, this is trash, you know what I'm saying? But so we were able to put together a winning formula, which was open bar, come cool. We had my man Little Omar at the door. Like he didn't know anybody. So unless we said, yo, this person gets in for free, Omar made sure we all got paid from the door that night. Right. So, it was just it was a perfect storm of just like where DC was, where it was heading, where it had been. And we were able just to kind of capture some of that lightning in a bottle, man. And so Rock Creek was able to exist for 2 years at the club. I want to say we did that for till 2012, 13, we were chilling. 2013, we kick off Grilled Cheese Social, and we did Everyday People. And once we got Everyday People in DC, it was like 13 or 14. That stamped us with a lot of New York folks. And then,
man.
yeah, and then Grilled Cheese Social. I mean, you already
That's
know.
such a tight party. Like, I was so like on some real shit. Like, I was honored when I got at like when we talked and got made that possible, and I got to open for you guys that one day. And rest in peace at Marvin's. Like,
Yeah.
rest in peace Marvin's. Like, but yeah, man, like you guys have such like a cool catch with that party. Like, free grilled cheese sandwiches, dope ass music, and a cool ass like location. Like, I mean, that's three big pieces. I mean, I think that's a cool thing that you really see in DC. Is DC has a lot of unique like groups that throw really cool parties. Like you got Rock Creek Social Group with the whole grilled cheese social. You got Malcolm Xavier's group, with their big tequila, a party that they've got. So I mean, I think there's a lot, and I think that's really cool that DC has to offer. Is you guys have founded like cool little niche people, and then have built upon that. I mean, look at as you said, Little Omar, right? Like, dude's now like killing it at Commonwealth and just doing an amazing job with Commonwealth, and you guys are moving over to 14th Street pretty soon. So that's really dope. I mean, that again, just showing the foundational and the steps in the growth of your careers and stuff. So, all right, getting into specifics. I know I rambled on a lot with that one.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good, bro. Let's do it.
Getting on to the next question. So, top three. I know you have worked with a ton of people, like in your career as a DJ, like, and as at different parties across the U.S. Like just if you could rattle off like top three people you have either opened for or worked with, like DJ'd with in your career thus far.
Oh, okay. I I opened for a dude named Mr. Mauricio out of Miami. Um, yo, he destroyed it. Like he was like, I was like, yo, this is fire, right? Mauricio absolutely destroyed it. Um, MoMA, I DJ with MoMA both in DC and New York, and just the energy that he captures and just how he's able to, people are able just to kind of hang on his every song like you've never seen it before. Like it's incredible, you know what I mean? And then man, I mean, my man Four Color Zach. Zach is the homie. We go back, and just to see how excited people were to see him in a room, and we played a couple different parties together, and that was like it was fun. You know what I'm saying? So it's been a lot though. I mean, I did the do over a couple times. I've played like it's opening is always an incredible experience. You know what I mean? Because it's a test. Even though I do get to close a lot of parties, opening is like, all right, have I been keeping up on like kind of good music? You know what I mean? I don't like to burn people. I don't need to burn you. I'm gonna leave you all the hits. So I'm just trying to say like, hey, can I keep a groove? Can I get the dance floor going with good music, not necessarily the hits? Because I'm gonna leave you the hits. You're gonna feel like you the man. It's all good, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm going home to Isabella. So
Shout out to Queen Bean, man. Isabella's the
already,
best.
already.
Yeah, like I respect you so much with the whole opening set statement, man. Like, I mean, I've done plenty of those sets. I think that's how most DJs should start their careers, to really develop a great music library and an understanding of, what we should be playing in the opening hours versus obviously the bombs and the big drops at our later hours for the closers per se. So
Yes, sir.
okay, let's see. What? Okay, I asked Wonder this as well. So, kind of top five. What are your current artists that you're kind of following closely right now that you've been attracted to their body of work lately. So this is maybe
Mm.
something that you've picked up on during the pandemic, like that you weren't really familiar with their music, and then through the pandemic, you've kind of heard through their library and like, wow, this is definitely somebody I need to listen to more. But
Wow.
yeah, like like a top five of like people artists you're listening to currently that you really enjoy.
Ooh, that's a good one, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's a good one. I might be able to give you top five DJs, but top five
Okay, we can
artists.
do that. That's fair. We can do. You know,
Top
for
five
you,
DJs. All
let's do
right,
top five
cool.
DJs.
Top five, cool, cool. Top five DJs. So my man Nopa Slaps out of San Francisco from the Bay Area. He kills it on the production side of things. He is just like he's a good dude, man. Number one and number two, he just plays. He's just creative. He's very creative with what he does, and I enjoy seeing people push the limits of creativity. You know what I mean? So he's very dope in his DJ sets. Um, our mutual friend DJ Crooked. Crooked is my guy, and
Yeah.
I really have enjoyed Crooked's DJ sets because he seems to just have a very like I'm gonna put you on game type attitude, and to me that's very it's a breath of fresh air. It's like I'm not just gonna let
Yep.
what's going on. No, I'm gonna like educate you guys to what you should be familiar with. You
I
know?
still can remember real quick his first like live stream set, and it was like in his kitchen, and he had the
Yeah.
echo on his mic like the whole night, and that whole set was just hilarious.
But
That
he
was
drank like a whole
awesome.
he drank a whole bottle of brown liquor and
Whole
just like was
bottle of
turned.
bro,
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
whew.
Uh,
Shout out to Crooked, man.
yeah, Crooked, of course. It's my man DJ Elwood. Elwood is out of Kansas City, but is originally from New York City, and I just find myself really enjoying a lot of the music that he plays. He's in a good space. To me, he just plays a lot of really dope stuff, a lot of like album cuts and like stuff that I'm just like, I need to dig a little deeper. You know what I mean? But Elwood sets are really good. Um, I'm trying to think. My man DJ Archie out of Chicago. Archie is another one who's like he's a hip hop head. You know what I'm saying? I could tell he was like he grew up heavy, you know, Stones Throw and all that kind of stuff, Rockets Records.
Yeah,
And
shout Optimus guy in our chat is actually really close with Stone's Throw family.
okay.
So shout out to Opt. I think he's in the chat right now. And
Okay,
Stone's
yeah,
Throw
shout out
family.
to
So
and so Archie's dope. Shout out to Optimus too. Sorry about that, but Archie is super dope. And man, who else?
Boy
There's so many.
Genius as well has got a really tight DJ stream going on up in Chicago as well.
Yeah, Boy Genius is on top of things, and honestly, between my man Tim Tones out in Vegas, he's dope, and then like DJ B is from Norfolk, Virginia. He's been a fixture down there since I was in college, so like the late '90s, and B has been streaming for probably 10 years, like on Periscope. Like if you stream on Periscope, you are a gangster. Like you get the job done. You know what I mean? And to see B every morning from 8 to 10, he is just in a place that I'm just like, yo, it's consistency. I watched his Twitch numbers grow every day. And he even ignores his Twitch number. He didn't even care. Like he could be partner now if he wanted to. But he's just like, yo, I'm here for the tunes. I'm not tripping off none of that. You know what I mean? So to see somebody who's so dedicated to be able to have a range of music every week that's like, I got a B-more show, I got a reggae show, I got a go-go show, I got this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, it's just super inspiring for me to just keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. So everybody I named, plus there's a ton of more DJs as well. You know what I mean? But for me, those are just five people who I'm just like, if they're on, I'll check them out for, you know what I mean, and see what's good.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's definitely good to see kind of DJs take a creative sidestep to things and really, I mean, try to develop these things. I mean, as you and I have had conversation in past, like, who knows where this is going to go, really? I mean, we definitely going to be here for a minute, so you might as well develop something pretty solid
There
for
you
your
go.
fan base. So,
There you go.
yeah. All right, so let's talk about non DJ stuff. So everybody knows you're the number one black cyclist in DC. This is a fact. Like we know this. Like, bro, this is so dope. Like I've seen photos of you with the helmet on and like the gear on and
Let's
like,
go. Let's go.
dude, you're killing it, man. Like,
Let's go.
so real quick, how did you kind of get into cycling? And then secondly, what is something else that you've picked up during the pandemic, like another hobby or skill set besides DJing?
Got into cycling because I think I just had a friend who asked me, was like, "Yo, what are you doing this weekend?" It was like warm outside. What are you doing? Like, oh, let's go for a bike ride. And I'm like, all right, cool. And they had a bike, and then I had to rent one of the red bikes. I'm like, man, this shit is trash. Like, it's not the wave. You know what I mean? So I did my research, and I found a company in Arizona who makes really dope bikes, and they were cheap, $300, but it's a single speed. So like, you know, when I push, it goes. When I don't push, we don't go. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
I learned very quickly that hills are not my friend, and we both live in DC. And the amount of hills from downtown where I ride my bike to here is incredible. You know what I mean? So, um, it's health for me. I still have one knee. I still have a torn meniscus in my knee, so I can ride my bike and it doesn't affect my knee at all. You know what
Dude,
I mean? So
that was insane. If people didn't know about how solid this guy is as a DJ, I can remember nights last year when you were hobbling around on one crutch, going in and out of the clubs, like still DJing, like
yeah,
on a crutch. Like if you're
yeah,
not about that life, like to me, like you're not about that life, and
bro.
that's whew, I still
Yeah,
remember those nights.
I had to get to the club super early, and then the times I couldn't get to the club early, they would just have the bus boys pick me up and just like drop me in the booth. And I'm on two crutches driving. I'm like, all right, bet I made it. Then it would take us like 10 minutes to get me out of the booth. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to the bus boys. Y'all, they're the homies anyway, so they're good. And another hobby that I've picked up, man, is just honestly all of this Twitch stuff, man. This video production stuff is just really and we had some conversation offline about this, but this is extremely interesting and it's engaging, and we're all learning about this. And I've said for a long time, I think video is the future, but it's here now. And so, learning the ins and outs of Streamlabs, OBS, and shout out to T Nice, he's in the chat. We've
Yeah.
all seen we've all seen the effect of like Streamlabs and OBS working on Monday and completely crashing on Tuesday,
You
and being
saw
like, bro,
that.
I didn't.
You saw that when we tested this out. Like,
Right.
my
And it's like, bro,
man,
I
it
didn't
is what it
change
is.
this. Be like, bro, I didn't change a single setting. I didn't change a single thing. Why is this not working? But I understand it, and I'm just I'm very interested in it. You know what I mean? And for the black cyclist thing is just a joke that some of my friends and I run with. But my goal when it gets warm is to do some live streaming while I'm cycling.
That would be
So
super
that
tight.
is, and to make some YouTube videos. I follow. It's funny you found videos from the Netherlands today. The only bike rider I follow, he's Dutch. He's from the Netherlands, and he makes these ill videos. He has 41,000 followers. He has 30,000 likes, views, but he makes really well crafted videos. You know what I'm saying? And for me, there's nobody that I see that's African American who's in that space.
Right, right.
You know what I mean? And so for me, that's important to be in that space. I mean,
Absolutely.
I've ordered a bike to my mom's house already, and I haven't even seen my mom in a year. You know what I mean? So I'm so ready to make this a bi-coastal thing that next time I do go home, put my bike together, and I'm gonna try to test it out. I have a camera.
You
I
know,
got so
I
much.
was just thinking, you and Kellen could do like dual streams of you guys riding your bikes together, like in
I
the
mean,
morning or something. That'd be super
I have
tight.
a camera. I have two GoPros. Like it's not a joke. You know what I mean? So now the challenge is to learn all the Adobe items. Photoshop, Illustrator,
Yep, yep.
Premiere, etc. But it's quarantine has been. I mean, if you're looking for a silver lining or something positive, I think that's what a lot of us have been able to delve into. And now it's like, well, what's the next thing after that? You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, that's super tight. I mean, I'm definitely appreciative of quarantine time, as so to say, to be able to really kind of like take a step back and be like, okay, I can DJ. This is, we all know this. We can all DJ. Like T Nice can DJ, Jerome Baker can DJ. Like all of these DJs can DJ, but how can you take that to the next step? Like, how can we keep as I told you before, DJ Franzen, who has been doing it for almost a year straight, like I think he's going on
Crazy,
night 300 within a week or so. I don't know, but anyways,
crazy.
like for him to have the amount of people that he has to keep it like visually interesting, like that's something that we have to take into consideration now. So there's that too. I mean, it's not just bottle service clubs popping bottles and dropping at 12:30, 1:30, your massive songs where now you got to be like, okay, I've got like 10 people in the chat that mess around with this kind of music, so I'm going to stay in this lane for a little bit. So
it's such a puzzle. It's such a puzzle to try to figure out what people want to hear. And I know people are always like, it's your room, you can play what you want, but we all pay attention to those numbers and how they dip and increase. And it's interesting. It's super interesting, man. And it's something that we're going to continue to figure out as we go on. And I'm up for the challenge, so let's get it.
all right, so next question, being you're up for all these challenges. I don't ask what your best favorite DJ gig was. I asked what your worst DJ gig was, why it was a DJ gig from hell, and how did you overcome it? If you did overcome it.
Oh man, I don't know if I've had. I mean, knock on wood, of course. I don't know if I've had a worse DJ. I mean, I've had some nights that were just kind of like whatever, but I still was back the next week or something like that. But and I don't say this to be like overconfident or like, what I'm saying. I know I've had a bad night, but I think I just kept it pushing. I mean, I had one night where a promoter was like, "We need you to play more like you and not like what they want." And I don't know, man. I don't recall having a bad night per se. I just kind of like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not trying to sound like a dick, right?
No. I mean, Wonder said the same thing last week. Like, he was just like, if you really love DJing, like, you really don't have a bad night. You just keep doing what you do if you really love what you do.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, 100% agree with that statement. And shout out to Wonder for sure. But yeah, man, I definitely, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I like it. I mean, hey, man, like I really, this is why some of these are like challenging to think about, because I want you guys to think like,
sure.
I wonder. All right, so you got DJing. Shout out to the Commonwealth gang. For most people don't know, you work at Commonwealth as well in DC with
Sir.
Stereo Faith and Omar and all those guys that are down there.
Yes, sir.
Great people down there. So if you weren't with those two things, right, what would Jerome Baker be doing now with his life if DJing and kind of the Stussy, or sorry if I mispronounced that, and the Commonwealth thing didn't work out? Where would you be at?
I don't know. I say I don't know because I've been at Commonwealth since before they opened in DC. I've been in Commonwealth 14 years.
Wow.
And I've lived in DC 18 years. So, you know what I mean? And I've been DJing in DC for 15 years. So it's kind of like I don't really know where I would be. I had a job when I first got here. I worked at a group home. And even at the group home, I made my way up from regular worker to I was a supervisor. And the reason why I quit the group home is because they said, you can't move up anymore for 2 years. And they said, you won't be able to get a raise either. The most raise you'll make next year is 16 cents.
Wow.
So I was like, are y'all telling me this to fire me? Or they're like, no, we just want to be honest with you. So, you can't get frustrated or do whatever. Cool. I think I was there for maybe like 2 or 3 more months. I got into it with a manager and we were out of there. But if I wasn't working at Commonwealth and Stussy, I don't even know if I would live in DC, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I think I would be pretty sure I'd just be in Arizona because the weather and the cost of living is so nice out there that, you know what I mean? I see, out here, there's a specific skill set that I think it takes to work, there's a specific function for DC, very governmental, right? And so for me, like, I'd rather just be like at home, kind of chilling, because the DJing is so important to me. Out here, I can do my thing, but out there, I would, if I wasn't DJing or working anywhere, I would just be like school counselor, Boys and Girls Club, a teacher, something like that.
Dude, you'd be a great teacher. I mean, dude, respect to you. You're one of the best like dads that I have met personally. Like,
yes, sir.
I mean, honorably, bro. Like the way you handle DJing and taking care of Queen Bean and the scheduling and all that stuff is just Bro, that's why you're one of my, mentor DJs that I look up to because you just handle it so well, like so well.
Nah, I appreciate that, bro, for sure. Thank you. That means a lot to me.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's switch gears. You're super healthy. I know that for a fact. You've got me hip on a lot of healthy stuff. Let's talk about. So I asked Wonder last week. You're after the gig, right? Could be in a hotel, could be back at your crib.
Hmm.
Now I know you're on a very strict diet, so you might just say water, and that's cool. So I appreciate that, but you're super hungry and you're just ready to grub. What is like your go-to meal after a DJ gig, like in your mindset?
It's probably gonna be water. I try to
I
cut
knew it.
back a
I
little
knew
bit.
it.
I try to cut back on some of that stuff, and I try to cut back on drinking at the club too. So I'm not like I'm. It's not like I'm not drunk and going to what was that place that people used to go to right around the corner from Heist? What's it
Surf
called?
Shack. Surf Shack.
Surfside, Surfside,
Surfside. Yeah, Surfside.
Surfside,
Yep.
whatever it is. So like I just try to avoid all that stuff. So like for me, it's like let me get home or let me get back to the hotel immediately and just drink some water and yeah, because yeah, water is it, man, for sure.
Water is definitely
Yeah,
it.
water is
I
it.
mean,
It
you do what?
hasn't always been it. I mean, we used to make some subway runs. I know
Oh,
we went
for
to
a
make.
fact, I remember Subway ones with you and Harry after nights at Heist, like
Oh yeah, it
for
was tight.
sure, like
That was super tight.
super tight.
But but I think a lot of what people need to understand too is when DJs go to eat, as much as we're going to eat and be hungry, we're also going to congregate. Like this is our
Oh
time
yeah.
to be social. We just spent anywhere from 3 to 5 hours in a DJ booth alone. So it's like if I want to be with my peers, what are we gonna do? We're gonna go to a place that we can just, you know what I'm saying, just kind of, half the time DJs don't even finish their food when we're together. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But we're talking. Next, it's 5 a.m. And so it's
Sun's
our social
rising,
hour. Yeah,
man.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. But DC just the late night options is just so crowded too, though, man. Like you gotta
Oh
wait an
yeah.
hour at the diner, Surfside, you're gonna get into a fight. Like there's so much craziness that I like steak and egg though. That's my go-to spot, but it's so far up
Okay.
north.
Okay.
But it's so far up north that people are just like they don't even know where it is half the time. You know what I mean? So
I
might
mean,
as well.
I've definitely hit the empanada spot with Koo a couple times, like after some gigs. Like
Yeah, yeah, I did that a long time
that's
ago. Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
that's been there for a minute. So I
We'll
mean,
see we'll see what's around when DC reopens too.
yeah. Oh man, God bless like whoever can stick around through this time. Like bro, like I just hope that you and I can see gigs in the future. Like that's the main thing, and all of our homies see gigs in the future. Like bro, like I mean, you wish the best for everybody because you would never wish this on anybody. Like you would never wish bad business on anybody. You would never wish, uh, like to go through a time like what we're going through. I mean, really, the entertainment industry is going to be the last one to really turn the switch back on. So I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. I mean, I know Flips was jokingly saying this, but Flips was saying, see y'all in 2022. And that sounds pretty legit right now, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying I know he was jokingly saying that, but I know a lot of people are hurting. Absolutely.
Well, I think there's a comfort level. I mean, Flips is doing well for himself on Twitch.
Absolutely. He's killing
So
it on
he
Twitch. Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
if something opens tomorrow, he may not need to come back outside until 2022, right? And like depending on the kind of events you're looking to have, 2022 may be your time to go, right? I mean, I know that the vaccinations are rolling out across the country. Different cities are at different levels, different states. So unfortunately there are things within your control. If you're not DJing, it's because maybe you haven't moved to Atlanta or moved to Florida or moved to Texas. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just not something you can do. In the same respect, there's not everything's for everybody, and so if Flips does want to chill, I'm not mad at him for doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's like I said,
Right.
he's also destroying it on Twitch.
Yeah.
My man
Oh,
is
yeah.
my man is putting up numbers every time he streams. And so like, no knock against anybody else, but if I'm putting up Flips numbers, y'all will not see me till 2022
And he's
either.
been putting up solid numbers for a while now. It's not been for recent. Like he's been at this just as long as I think DJ Wonder has been, or shortly after the fact. So I think he was one of the first DC area people that I really
Yes.
caught attention to on his stream level because he had the TVs, he had Flipsy, he had a lot of different pieces that really went well. So again, going back to the visual attention piece to this whole thing, like it's very important.
Yeah, and I mean, you have to just look at everybody's situation is so different, right? You could be a single person, you could be a single parent, or you could be a family person. You know, you could be somebody who just depended on DJing for money, or it could have been your side gig and you have a 9 to 5. You know, we all have different situations, and we all have to be cognizant of that when dealing with each other. You know what I'm saying? Just because my situation looks like this doesn't mean I can shit on somebody else's situation who looks different,
Absolutely.
right? Like I have to be understanding of what you're going through, and this person is going to be understanding of what that person is going through. And if we're all putting our best foot forward and working together, then at least we're controlling what we can control. We can't control what's opening, but if I know how to use a program and you need help, bro, I'm gonna help you. You know what I'm saying? Like it's really that sort of each one teach one. Let's look out for each other. That can help us get through parts of this.
Yeah, I'm blessed. I mean, what you said was absolutely on point. All right, man. So, real quick before we get into the last question of the night, all right, give out your socials real quick. So, where can the family find you at? What's all your social tags?
It's just at Jerome Baker 3RD. Pretty much that's Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. I guess that's what matters, right? I don't use TikTok. I'm not that cool. My knees won't let me live on TikTok. Facebook.
Yo,
I don't even.
we need to have that needs to be a T-shirt for Jerome Baker the Third. My knees won't let me live on TikTok.
Is that yeah? That's a Jerome Biker. So Jerome Biker the
Jerome
third is
Biker
the
the
is
Third. I like that.
that's
I
the
like
that's the
that.
that's the cycling pivot, right? It's called Jerome Biker the third. That's a cycling thing. That should be dropping very soon. I got some stuff on the way, but yeah, at Jerome Baker third on everything, man. Just come say hi.
And you
It's all
got
good.
real quick Rock Creek Social. What's your socials for Rock Creek Social?
Rock Creek Social. That's it. Rock Creek
Okay,
Socials and everything.
fair enough.
We I just had a call yesterday about what we're gonna do moving forward. It's like have a plan for April, prepare for June. Don't be disappointed if it doesn't happen until August. So that's the timeline of what we're working with in terms of DC right now. So
I'm excited. I'm
it's
sure
all
it's gonna
good,
be
man.
dope.
Yeah. What's the podcast? It's a podcast. It's
Yeah.
cool. We
Oh
just did a
yeah. My
hundred.
bad. Totally. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Shout out to Abdul and all you guys on What's a
Abdul, my
Podcast.
man, Silent Tom, Eddie. Yeah, it's we did 101st episode. It's
Wow.
cool. It's fun. So
Dude, that's
yeah,
tight.
no.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah, I mean, listen, man. I appreciate you, bro.
And
Thank
you
you.
guys got a lot of dope guests on that. I mean, highlight DJ Clark Kent. You got correct me if I'm wrong. Sean Paul was on your
Yeah, we
podcast.
had Sean Paul. We had
Wow.
Clark Kent. We had Scooty. We had Dre the Mayor. We
Shout out to
had
Scooty, Dre the Mayor. Yep.
yeah, we had Tabby Benet. That was super dope.
Oh wow.
We had Manny Wells. We had an artist named Naturel. So we've had a good amount of, we've tapped into a lot of talented individuals, and there's more on the way. We just did our first stream on Twitch 2 weeks ago. Awesome
That's a great idea.
experience. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's what the future is going to look like. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure if it's just Twitch, but just moving our podcast content online. Um, it's been fun. It's a new experience. You know what I mean? Like, so you talked about healthy. I got to get super healthy because now, like, before they were just listening, now they're watching you. It's like, oh man, here we
Watching,
go. We're going for a
watching.
walk tomorrow.
They're
We're going for a
watching
walk
that
tomorrow morning,
camera.
my guy. Going for a
Yeah,
walk tomorrow morning.
dude, it's insane. All right, last question before we end this, and once again, thank you so much for your time tonight, man. I really appreciate you.
No, thank you, bro.
And so this is, gonna be kind of challenging if you can kind of get it into top three, but top three favorite DJ moments ever, and it's not because of clout. It's because of you personally. Like this was, for example, I'll give you an example. Like Sway in the Morning is definitely top three for me, absolutely right now. And I'm sure there'll be more than Sway in the Morning in the future, absolutely. But um, the reason why I say Sway in the Morning is for me that was a personal highlight for my DJ career. It wasn't like It wasn't because I was on Sway in the morning and I was with Sway and Wonder and all those people, but like more so like your top three like memorable DJ gigs, just because like they just stick out the most to you out of anything.
Um, played the Do Over in 2009. I was super excited. I hadn't DJed in California before. I just had some conversation with Stone's Throw. We did an in-store. I was a manager at Stussy. I come to find out my man Jamie is the guy that also runs Stone's Throw at the time. He's a part of it. So I'm like, bet, let's connect the dots. We connect the dots. We agree on a weekend. Everything is great. It's Thursday, maybe. So it's like, cool, let's fly out to LA, right? Boom. Get to LA, find out AM passed away. So it's like the weekend that AM passes
Rest in
away,
peace.
I'm supposed to play the Do Over, which is one of, like, you know what I'm saying, their favorite parties. Mike B was there, who was obviously super close with AM.
Yep.
Pace Rock, who's a guy that I think is super dope. He was there. A lot of they actually met at the Do Over and then went to have like a family type situation. So
Wow.
just that those circumstances, but in the same realm, I want to say like 10 of my guys flew out to LA to see me play the Do Over. You
That
know what I
had to have
mean?
been
So
like
my man,
that. Not to interrupt. That had to have been like the most awkward gig for you, like to be like, man, like AM Pass, legendary open format DJ icon to the entire DJ community, and like you're super excited because you're out in LA for the first time DJing the Do Over. Like that's got to be such like a man. I can't really explain that one.
it was heavy, but in the same time, they just knew, like, the feeling was we're gonna party for AM. He would want us to party, right? It was the first time I met More Code. It was the first time I met DJ Nugget from Pittsburgh. Shout out to Nugget.
Yeah, shout out to
Nugget and
Nugget
I,
Goldmark.
we've been, we've been cool for 13 years now, and we've met that, and we might have only seen each other 5 or 6 times since then, but because of social media, we talk all the time, you know. Aloe Black was on the mic. He made sure everybody was drunk as a skunk in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, Do Over is big on sangria, so they made sure everybody had their own pictures of sangria. Everybody's shirt was stained purple because they spilled it. Yo, AM would want us to party. Let's not even talk about it too much. Let's just rock out. I still got the recording. I listen to it all the time.
That's tight.
But
That's tight.
so Do Over, that was a dope one. I did Everyday People. The first time doing Everyday People was in Manhattan, and you know, obviously we drove up. I got all the homies in. We're good.
Killed that, by the
And
way. I saw video
yeah,
clips. Killed that.
so that was the second time,
Okay,
but the
okay,
first
okay.
time. So the first time they're like, hey, you know, you're gonna DJ for about an hour and a half, and then we're gonna have a performance. I'm like, cool, all right, you know, what's the performance? They're like, some guy named Jadena, like his first time performing. So come to find out, you know, it's the first time that he's performing Classic Man. And
What?
it was insane. It was like,
All
oh,
right,
okay, like this.
what was the reaction when he like performed that? Was everybody did everybody know that was going to be what it was, or
No. Everybody was just like, this is dope. But because his crew was in there so heavy, because he rolls with Janelle Monáe at the time,
right, right?
they had a lot of them were in there. So it was like, oh, this is cool. It's got a little groove to it. You know, 3 months later, it's a smash. You know what I
That's
mean?
a
It's crazy.
crazy story.
Yeah, yeah. And then I would say the third is there's a party, is a tie. I'm gonna tell two real quick. There's a party in
Fair enough.
Boston. There's a party in Boston called The Wave, and they had me come up and play their anniversary party for them. And like the energy in the room was just something I hadn't seen. I played for a while, almost 3 hours, and like it was just such a, like, we couldn't end the party. It was so good, we just couldn't end the party. You know
Those
what
are
I
the
mean? It was just
best
such a
parties.
cracking time. Yeah, you know, and I played everything in a room full of, you know, my thing is a room full of just the culture, everybody, black, white, tall, yellow, gay, straight, whatever, hearing and responding and asking for everything, like everything, like seeing those Cager records go off, it just warms my heart. But seeing kids
You and
dance
Keitra,
to
man, that's life for you.
Cage is my guy. But seeing kids dance to MGMT and NERD and all that stuff in the same set, just, you know, and still playing Chief Keef, you know what I mean? And then I did the first night, my man Chase B, I did he did a party at spot called Up and Down in New York City. I did the opening night with him, it was NBA draft night, and he was just like, he was like yo, you good? Like I was gonna open. He's like, you good? I'm like, yeah. He's like, I bet I'll be back. And he just left. And I just had the party first, jiggy, whatever, for 2.5, 3 hours. And I was just throwing haymakers at him. And it was going crazy, man. So, there's a lot of those stories, but those stick out. And, I just hope we can make more soon.
Oh, absolutely. I think to share a quick story, I think the funniest moment I had with you was you and Omar came to see me on Thanksgiving Eve at Heist, and it was just so packed. And you looked at me and you just started laughing. You were like, yo, you were like, mind if I play some records? I was like, bro, please do what you gotta do. Like,
it was slammed in there. It was slammed in there.
That was the night they stole the gold bullhead, but they got it back. They like ripped it down off the wall behind me, and they got it to like almost where the DJ booth ends, where they get out into the bar, and like Tank saw it obviously and was like, nah, not happening tonight, and they got kicked out. And thankfully I had the booth. It was more empty towards the end of the night, thankfully, but dude, it was just insanity that night. Like that was one of the more packed clubs that I've done in DC for sure. Like absolutely. So
that's a good night to DJ, man. Night before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
It's the best open format club in the city. It's like when I've played that night before, and one night me, Sean G from LA, and Trades played the night before Thanksgiving. It was fun. It's super fun.
Dude, that's a great trio to listen to.
And you're gonna get a crowd that night. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have a good time. So, shout out to you for knocking that out though. You killed it.
Yeah, I played records, bro. That's what we do. I mean, we do what we can do.
Let them know.
Yo, listen, Jerome, it was an honest listen. Like this is perfect time ending. Like you have been a pleasure having on this channel tonight, man. I really appreciate having you. I'm gonna give you a quick round of applause. Like chat, give him a round of applause.
Thank you for having me,
dude. Give yourself a round of applause. Like, and good luck with everything. I mean, I'm back in DC now, so hopefully we can link up, get some tacos soon. Shout out to our favorite taco spot, Taqueria
Habanero. You know what it is.
On 14th, baby. But anyways, like, dude, it's just so good to see you again, and make sure you stay healthy. Man. Make sure you're gonna stay healthy and all that stuff. That's nothing I gotta say. So, but anyways, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Twitch one more time for Jerome Baker in the chat.
Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, for sure. Coming up next, we got the top 10 DMV music videos of the week. Next week, I got Malcolm Xavier coming in hot from the New Age crew, and we are really going to be doing